Happy video day, guys. Christina, Brooke here. Today we're going to be diving into a brand new launch from Huda Beauty. I actually didn't even know that this was launched on the Sephora website, but I was checking and surfing through Sephora and I saw this and I said, hey, this is a cool launch. So this is the new Lunar New Year palette from Huda Beauty and it's called the Tiger Obsessions. All right, guys, editing Christina here. I am outside because Lexi's on a mission to make as much noise as possible so mommy can't film. So I actually was getting everything ready to upload this video for you guys, and then a nice little subscriber sent me a message saying, hey Christina, did you not realize that this is a exact copy of the Tiger Obsessions palette that Huda launched, and it was part of her Wild Obsessions, and Tiger is the one I didn't pick up. Now I knew that this looked very familiar, but I didn't know it was the Tiger Obsession because I actually skipped that one and I believe that that one's not available no more. So this is the repackaged Tiger Obsessions. So if you have the Tiger Obsessions, you do not need this one unless for some reason you want the packaging, because this is literally the same palette. So I just wanted to warn you guys of that because I just found that out and I wanted to add that in the beginning of this video because I did not really know that while I was filming the video, so I just wanted you guys to know as well. That doesn't change the fact that I still think all of the same things as I think in this video. It's just if you do own that palette, then you don't need this one. FYI. So now let's go ahead and let's get into the whole video. So I went ahead and picked it up just to give it a go. I've really enjoyed Huda Beauty's like smaller palettes. Usually they're pretty good. And I also wanted to kind of compare this to some of the newer launches that she's come out with because, I don't know, the color story looked unique, but I wasn't sure how unique. So what we're going to do in today's video is I'll be trying it on for the very first time, doing this eye look for you guys, giving you guys first impressions, and telling you guys whether I think that this is worth even giving a go or not. So if you're new and you haven't subscribed already, please don't forget to hit that big O subscribe button and let's get into it right now. All right, so first thing, let's get into some details. So this is a $29 US palette from Huda Beauty. It does say that it's a limited edition, and like I said, it's called the Lunar New Year Obsessions eyeshadow palette, and it's actually in Tiger Wild Obsessions is what it says on the back. They do say that it is a limited edition champagne gold palette with taupe neutrals and a sexy terracotta paint. It's cruelty free and comes in recyclable packaging. It's fiercely pigmented shades and creamy textures. A 9-pan palette with 4 different kinds of textures in it. So it includes some of her soft mattes, her semi-sheer metallics that add an extra glam of drama, which we've been seeing those come out a lot. Her foil metallics that bring killer dimension. Her classic metallic formula is what it says in here. So it is a 9-pan shadow palette, and I have to say, the color selection is pretty. It probably is not something that I would jump at if I had just seen it like at the store, but because I haven't seen anything new launched lately, it kind of just like called my attention. Not a huge fan. I'm also not a huge fan of the red packaging. I don't know, that's just me, but who cares? I love this though. I think that is so cool. I love that little tiger in the front, and then in the back it just gives some details. So this is also made in China, and let's get into some swatches because I'm going to swatch them for you guys so you guys can actually see all the colors. So let's start off with this. So this looks like a very yellowy toned color. I usually don't like these kind of colors, to be honest. I'm not like a huge yellow wearer, but I have to say, man, these are pigmented. Like, I feel like this is such a pigmented palette. It's pretty shocking to me. Then we've got these two right here. So this one looks like it's her standard metallic, a beautiful gold metallic, and that is a very classic gold. Very pretty color. Then we have this beautiful brown. So I like this brown too. It reminds me of like a gold obsessions kind of vibe on the top. You know, mixed together, not my favorite, but probably with some of the other shades, I do like them. So then for the next three, we got some interesting stuff going on here. I believe this to be another one of her classic metallics, and it's a really pretty brown. This is not something that I think like people don't have in their collection. Very typical brown metallic. Now this is the cool one. This one shifts. This is a cool shifty sheer metallic. And it has gold, and then it also has pink. So actually when you put it on, you get like this huge pink vibe, but then as it shifts to this gold. It's very pretty, and it's very delicate actually. Compared to the other colors, I feel like this is a very delicate sheer metallic. It's very pretty. I have it actually all over the lid today. Then I have this one here. This is interesting too because it's like a peachy yellow, and I like this color. I didn't think I was going to like this color because I usually don't like things that have yellow in it. But because it has a stronger like orangey base, it's actually pretty. I think it's a pretty color. And then for the last three colors, we do have one more of her standard metallic, which this was actually very pigmented. So we have this really nice yellowy gold. This is more on the yellowy gold side, typically not my favorite color, but what I do like is these have like a lot of glitters in it, which will make things pop. Like it's gonna make your eye look very popping. And then this color I love. This is a beautiful, beautiful like terracotta, but it's really stunning. This is a really pretty color. I have it all over the top of the lid and I feel like it gave a lot of impact. And finally we have this. So this is a really nice orange. So we have a pretty orange right here. And I actually do think that the orange tied in pretty well with the palette. So that is the swatches of what the palette looks like. And I have to say, this is probably not a palette that I would have run and jumped at buying, even with the swatches. Like this is just not like my typical color story. Not really into like the yellows with the browns, but there's something interesting and unique about the palette that just kind of called my attention. I decided to pick it up. I will say I'm kind of happy I did because I really enjoy this eye look and I think that the pigment in this palette is something beautiful, which is really interesting because I feel like Huda really has been coming out with really, really beautifully pigmented, blendable shadows. And I have to say this eye look is something really, really nice and the pigmentation is pretty great. So let me go ahead and zoom you guys in, show you guys how I created this look, and I'll give you guys my final verdict on each one of the shades and what I'm thinking at the end of this video. So let's go ahead and let's zoom in and I'll show you guys how this look was created. So I really think that this is so cool. I really, really like the outer packaging. So this is for the Lunar New Year and the inside is actually really pretty too. If you guys can see, the colors are really nice. I think that they're interesting. I do feel like it's not like super unique, but I guess the color story is different. So it is kind of different. I'm gonna look at some of her other palettes and compare. Hopefully that's not too much light coming in on this, but for the most part, it's pretty unique, interesting color story. It has some yellows and oranges in there, and then it has this really cool like goldish color. So it's definitely like more warm tone, but I want to play with this and do something really fun. So let's do an eye look. Let's see how this works. Hopefully it's good because literally this was just like a random purchase. Saw it on Sephora's website and said, ooh, Huda had a new palette. Why not? So let's just start with, I'm going to start with this color right here. And I'm going to put that in the crease. That is extremely pigmented color, which is actually pretty shocking. Sometimes these colors, like these peachy kind of tones, sometimes they don't have that much pigment to them and they annoy me because I'm like, oh, I wanted to see you and I see nothing. So that actually gave me a very good first impression of this palette, especially the quality. Hopefully they're all like that, but that was really, really good. Let's go ahead and let's deepen a little bit with this color, which is like a deep chocolate brown. I love these colors, and Natasha Denona has done this color a few times and I haven't liked it. I'm hoping that this is a good brown because I really love this color, but not all brands do this color very good. It's more of a cool tone brown. Actually, that looks really nice. Seems to be blending really good too. So I'm actually I'm liking that brown. I like it. That looks really, really pretty. So now, what should we do? Let's play with, I'm not really a big fan of this color. Oh, well, you know, it's not that ugly. It's actually more of like a peachy yellow. Ah, that was interesting. I didn't think it was going to be that color. But I want to kind of put like this orange color next to this brown because I usually don't like orange and brown together, but I kind of trust Huda's ideas sometimes. Like sometimes she comes out with like pretty interesting color stories that work well together. So I'm going to find a brush that I want to use. Typically do not like browns with oranges, but this is not, it's not bad. It's not bad. I don't love that color. Let's do, why don't we grab like, what's the center one? Let's put the center one all over the top. Oh, this is cool. This one kind of like flips color. Yeah, it's like a glitter that has like multi-flip to it. All right, so let's get a little bit more of that brown and let's fix that outer V a little bit. All right, so that's what we have going. I think it looks kind of interesting, pretty, a little bit subdued. I'm gonna put a little bit more of that peachy color that we started with. And then I'm gonna run a little bit of it down the lower lash line with the deep brown. And then blend with a blending brush and a little bit of this. little bit of this like this peachy, I don't even know, peachy kind of yellowy tone in the inner portion of the eye. And I'm just gonna kind of use as many colors as I can. I have to admit, even that peach was pretty pigmented, which is actually pretty cool. That looks pretty cool. So let me go ahead and finish off this eye. I'll put some mascara and stuff on, a little bit of liner, do the other eye, and then I'll give you guys some thoughts, some first impression thoughts. All right, guys, so there we go. Finish this off with a little bit of a liner from Natasha Denona, some Rare Beauty mascara, some lipstick from Bite Beauty. Everything will be linked down below so you guys can see all the items that I have on my face right now. I think it looks pretty interesting. I think this side has a little bit more yellow than this side, so I'll add a little bit more. But I actually really like the look. I think it came out cool. So let's go ahead and get into some final thoughts and also some comparisons. All right, so as you guys can see, the eye look, love it. I think the eye look is phenomenal. There's something beautiful about the pigmentation about this palette. This palette has really nice pigmentation. This is a good quality palette from Huda, which I'm actually shocked because it's limited edition, and sometimes those limited edition palettes are not as great. Like, I feel like they can kind of get away with not making it that good because they don't stay around the whole year. But I have to say, this one has very good quality. These yellows and oranges are extremely pigmented. They really give a punch. They're very soft mattes and they blend beautifully onto the lid. This peach color, not the easiest. It's kind of like a terracotta. I feel like sometimes these terracotta colors can blend really horribly. This is a beautiful blending terracotta. I love the orange. I think it blends amazing. This is so pigmented. Look how much pigment is in that yellow, and that's an eyeshadow. They didn't say pigment palette anywhere. This is an eyeshadow that is super pigmented. I think that's phenomenal. The brown actually blends beautifully. I did a much better blending job with this brown than the one in the Mini Biba from Natasha. So this is a much better brown and very, very good quality. When it comes to the metallics themselves are very cool too. I have to say, I did only really use this one all over the lid, but just off of the swatch. The three that I really did not touch, I can tell that those are going to be very pretty metallic. One of them is going to be very shocking, and the other ones are a little bit less shocking, a little bit more faint, but they still do a really nice punch. And even this one that's a sheer with the glitter, look how much pigment there is there. I mean, this is very, very glittery. It has that awesome shift. I think that this one's beautiful. I love this pink to gold. It's very dainty, which is not expected. This looks more like a tiger. This looks a little bit more like rawr. Like, look at pigmentation and quality is there. I like this palette. I think it's very beautiful. Color story, not my color story in general, but I do love this look. So I think that this is going to be a fun palette to do for a 5-day challenge and see what kind of looks I can come up with. Maybe I can get on board with this color story. Maybe I'm just being a little bit too harsh on the yellows with the browns in this case. But other than that, really like this palette. So let's do some compare it. So let's compare it. Let's see if I can find any other palettes in my collection from Huda Beauty that are very reminiscent of this palette. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that right now. So guys, jumping in, comparisons. Now that we know this is an exact duplicate of the Tiger Obsessions, if you have Tiger Obsessions, obviously this is the exact same palette. So you don't need it. But there was some other comparisons, so I'll show you guys those. Okay, so I was searching through my collection for some comparisons, but the only thing I could really say is that the palettes that look the most similar to me would be the Brown Obsessions palettes, at least in my collection. So if you guys can see this one and this one, so this is the Caramel Obsessions and this is the new Tiger Obsessions. So, I mean, they have like a similar vibe, but like, can I say any of these are like identical shades? They're really not. She didn't recreate this palette. Like, they're different. Like, honestly, like, just looking at, there's nothing that I could swatch and just be like, yes, those are so close. They're kind of really different. And then this is the other one. So this right here would be the Brown Obsessions, the chocolate one. So that one does have a similarity as well. But like I said, nothing that I would swatch. Like, even just for fun, here's the Neon Obsession. So we would have some of those like yellowy tones going on. But like, you can tell that the neon one is just a lot more neon. So I looked at most of my Obsessions palettes and I have a bunch of them and none of them really looked super similar to this. Now, I would like to know if somebody got the Gold Obsessions or the one that came in the Brown Obsessions just recently that had more gold in it, because I skipped that one. Those two may be more similar to this, but in my opinion, in my collection, this is super unique and different, and it's pretty. And I do like to have like these like yellowy tones because I usually don't pick them up. And it's nice to have something in that family in my collection that has a really good pigment to it. Like this is a really nice pigmented palette. So I have to say, I'm a huge fan right now. I think that it could be a really, really nice addition, especially if you like those colors and there's something about the palette that you really like it and you want it in your collection. I think it's really cool. So I'm definitely going to be doing a 5-day challenge on that palette because it interests me to see how much I can really do with it. But I feel like there is variety there. I think that I could do different kinds of looks with this and not just stick to one specific look. So I'm excited for that. But yeah, so if you guys are looking at it, definitely the pigment's there, definitely the quality's there, has an interesting color story, maybe not for everybody, and if you want to pick it up, I definitely think you'll like it. So, and if you enjoyed the video, don't forget, hit subscribe, join the family, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.